Florence VILLEMINOT for our international press view. Hi, Flo. Let's start out with The Guardian and The Washington Post. Exclusive information about a top-secret program in the US.
That's right. Now, if The Guardian says this is an undercover operation, that's code name is Prism. And if we can take a look at the front page of The Guardian that explains just what this is. Basically, it lets the U.S. secretly collect private data from internet giants like AOL, Apple, Facebook, Google, Microsoft, Skype, Yahoo, and YouTube. Basically, 9 internet companies in total whose servers the U.S. intelligence community has direct access to, according to The Guardian. Now, you might wonder how The Guardian and The Washington Post found out about this major eavesdropping program. Well, they got their hands on a leaked National Security Authority document that's basically a 41-page PowerPoint presentation that outlines the program. And if we take a look at the Washington Post's website, well, they have a couple of these slides up for us to take a look at. For instance, this one actually outlines the program, says it's the #1 source of raw intelligence used by the NSA. This slide shows just how most of the world's electronic communication actually moves through U.S. companies. This slide shows just what kind of data they can get their hands on. So emails, videos, photos, live chats, all sorts of things. And this last one shows just when each provider joined the program. So you can see that Microsoft here joined back in 2007. The last one to have joined was Apple in October 2012.
And civil liberties organisations, perhaps understandably, expressing their concern.
That's right. The American Civil Liberties Union has said that this program is beyond alarming. It's beyond Orwellian. And The Guardian, in their editorial, say that, well, the American freedom is really what's on the line here. Now, it's interesting to note that this comes just a couple of days after The Guardian leaked another shocking story that we've been hearing a lot about, and that's the fact that the Obama administration has been quietly collecting millions of telephone records from U.S. phone giant Verizon, and this has also drawn a lot of criticism. The New York Times' editorial today really slams Obama, calls this his Dragnet. It says that Obama is overreaching the use of his powers in the name of counterterrorism. This is hypocritical coming from a president who once upon a time promised transparency and accountability. The administration has, quote, now lost all credibility on this issue, says the New York Times.
And a lot of papers wondering where all this leaves the future of privacy.
That's right. Eugene Robinson says, does this mean the end of privacy? Is privacy something that we're going to talk to our kids about as if it's this thing that's extinct? He says that times really have changed. Our lives are recorded in ways that are impossible to imagine just a couple years ago, but we should fight to hold on to the shreds of privacy that remain. But it's interesting to note there's a slightly different opinion in Slate by Amy Webb, and she says she's shocked. She's shocked not by these revelations, but she's shocked by the fact that so many people were surprised by the fact that there is this, all this information is out there. She says that in reality, we live in, there's personal data everywhere, and she describes a typical day for her how she shares all this private information, whether it's using her smartphone, going on GPS, or even just using her credit card. And she says that basically new technology has made our lives more convenient and efficient, but that comes at the price of our personal data. But she says, you know, when you're thinking about all this, don't forget things like the Boston Marathon bombing. It's because that all this information was out there that authorities were able to pinpoint the 2 suspects. And also, don't forget that citizens are the ones sharing this information. They have a part of responsibility into the data that they're sharing. They need to think about that when they're sharing that data.
It is a tricky balance. Okay, we're looking at The Independent next in the UK and the story of twins.
That's right. They're looking at a project called Twins UK, which is celebrating its 20th anniversary this year. It's basically a project that's followed about 6,000 pairs of twins over the years and made some incredible scientific advances, according to this article in the Independent. For instance, it explores why one twin would get sick when the other wouldn't. It helps drug makers fight certain cancers, etc. And another paper is also looking at twins, but this time twin names. This is the Wall Street Journal that looks at how people deal with the fact that they have doppelgangers out there, and sometimes emails that were meant for me might go to the other Florence VILLEMINOT, even though I don't think there is another Florence VILLEMINOT out there. And the Wall Street Journal just looks at how to deal with this problem, what the protocol is when you meet your digital doppelganger.
The one and only Florence VILLEMINOT. Thanks very much for that look through the world's papers. That's it for our press review. Do stay with us here on Live from Paris. More news very shortly, as well as Focus, and we profile the Israelis struggling to make ends meet as the OECD says the country has the highest poverty rate of all its members. Just stay tuned.